Hello, Cygames actually put out some helpful news last night regarding the global release that I thought was worth going over in a video. The most interesting bit of news is the accelerated schedule. In this post they're saying that events, scouts, otherwise known as gotcha pulls, and quality of life improvements will all be coming to the English release earlier than they did in the Japanese version. What's interesting in terms of events and scouts is that they're saying the gaps between releases will be shorter, but they'll be the same duration as in the Japanese release. Events make sense because you probably don't need a huge gap between those, but scouts are another thing. Scouts don't usually have a gap between them, especially in the first year. Once we get into the second year, then we start to see them do a release halfway through a banner's usual run for events or new scenario themed units, but they only do that for a moment before getting back on schedule. So if the scouts are going to be the same duration, my question was, how are they going to shorten the gaps if the gaps are non-existent? I went back and looked over the first year of banner releases in the Korean version, and the durations were off by a few days here and there, so in short, I have no idea what's going to happen. Pure speculation, they could have multiple banners running at once. Maybe that means instead of waiting 4 years for Fever, maybe we only wait 3. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But they also said we're getting quality of life improvements earlier than when they were released in Japan, which is everything I've ever asked for. The two we're starting with are two that we desperately need: the jukebox and landscape races. Okay, maybe that's not so exciting, but they did say they're working on the guided career, otherwise known as auto training. I'd really like the tour system to come in earlier because it gives me something to spend my energy on, but I'm a patient guy. With this in mind, it's probably also free to speculate that we'll be getting scenarios significantly sooner, which is great news for fans of Valhalla Cup. The last thing from this post is that they also confirmed something we pretty much already knew, and that you can connect your mobile account to the Steam version. So yeah, that's all from this post, but they did make another post last night in regards to something I knew would be quote-unquote changing, which is aptitude names. To be fair, the runner, leader, betweener, and chaser designations were all fan names, but in that order, they're going to be known as front runner, pace chaser, late surger, and end closer. They'll probably end up being shortened to runner, chaser, surger, and closer because there isn't a whole lot of room to have all those letters on the screen, which means leaders are now chasers, and I don't know what to believe anymore. One last thing to note is that since these updates went out last night, being the 15th, and they said the game is releasing in 10 days, the game will probably actually come out on the night of the 25th as opposed to the 26th. And that's all the news and rampant speculation we have. Now to patiently count down the days until they prioritize the battle pass, which makes Cygames more money.